So I have always had a great interest in food. I've been in the food industry all my life. I helped my grandma cater for as long as I could remember, and then it ended up turning into a job. And once I got to UK, I discovered Campus Kitchen, and that's where it really all started because I just poured myself into the organization. I wanted to volunteer as much as I could, and now I'm in the executive committee, and I love it, and I can't picture my life, any kind of other way. Once I started my coursework and my classes, I was so interested in what the lecturers were saying and teaching, and that's never happened for me before. I just would zone out during class, take notes if needed, but I was really engaged in those classes, and I knew at that moment, I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I just took a trip to Ghana this past summer in May of 2019, and it was focused in the Department of Dietetics and Human Nutrition. We focused on their food systems and their healthcare, and it was probably one of the most eye-opening experiences I've ever had. It was just incredible. It was my first time, but I'm sure I'll be going back soon. We got to experience a school lunch program at the elementary school that Dr. Mullins and her husband funds, and we got to visit hospitals and see how their dietitians were progressing throughout their society. And they're a little bit more behind than we are, however, they are forging right along. So that was really great to see and to understand what their health issues are exactly, which is not as much as ours, such as like cancer and stuff, but it was high blood pressure. That was their main illness that they were trying to combat with medical, like nutrition therapy and food therapy. So the solutions were very similar to ours. It was just changing your diet and exercising and watching what you eat, portion control, all of that. And they seem to be doing a really great job with their education, with their clientele, I guess. And people, the doctors are beginning to want to work with the dietitians more in the healthcare scene. We visited quite a few farms. One of their main crops was cocoa. But something that I saw that was really interesting was that a lot of the families that lived there grew their own crops, raised their own livestock, which was great to see, but they also knew that they would only take what they needed and nothing more, in hopes to, one, not waste, because wasting is not really condoned in their country. It was actually frowned upon at the restaurants if we had food left over on our plates. They would ask us if we didn't like it, but we would say, like, no, it was so good, it was just so much food, like we were full, so food waste is not as big as an issue in Ghana as it is in America, because we do waste a tremendous amount of food here, which actually kind of breaks my heart. So I would love for the American society to adopt a take what you need instead of as much as you want kind of practice. Something else that we would see, we got to have plenty of like sit-down meals with locals and people who lived in the villages, and like the food was absolutely amazing. It was fresh, it was locally sourced, and I think that was really important, how much of their food was not imported besides rice, which was something that they couldn't grow all throughout the year, but it was one of their staple foods. So if they couldn't grow it themselves, they didn't really eat it. So we got to visit the school that UK works with, and it was absolutely amazing to see how many little kids come to school every day and are just like excited to learn, and they have so much energy, and oh my, it was just a beautiful sight to see. And then we got to observe their lunch program, which was a free lunch program, and we noticed how more kids were trickling in throughout the day for lunch, because sometimes it was some of their like only meals throughout the day. So yes, the lowest grade was kindergarten, but we saw like some 3-year-olds and stuff, and parents would send their little 3-year-olds to school with their older siblings in hopes for them to be fed that day, which was pretty incredible. One, for the teachers to actually take care of the younger kids since they weren't on that same maturity level as the older ones, and two, just to watch those kids like enjoy a fresh home-cooked meal that 5 women, which were their lunch ladies, had prepared in this small little kitchen outdoors. Outdoor kitchens were very prominent there. But they would all line up with their little bowls that they brought from home, and the lunch ladies would fill their bowls and they would not leave a scrap behind, you know, and they would just be so happy to receive that food. And we also got to tour the new school under construction, and they're building a library and a computer lab right now, which is awesome. So we are donating books and hopefully computers in the near future to you know, furnish their new facilities. But the thing that they have trouble with most is teachers. There's so many kids that come to school and not enough teachers to teach. So that was very interesting to watch, as some teachers would have to combine their classrooms. So it would be one of them and maybe about 45 little kids trying to teach, but they were still doing a great job. They spoke to us in English, but they would learn their lessons in like their native language. So that's something that I've always wanted to do, you know, speak more than one language, and to see those little 5-year-olds doing it better than I ever could was just mind-blowing. It was amazing. So I was told that before their food or their lunch program begun, like for free lunch, attendance would be low, because when so many children were hungry, it would be hard for them to focus to learn at school. They would be distracted all the time because you can't focus if all you can think about is food. So ever since this lunch program has been implemented, attendance has been on a great incline. Like I said, with the little kids coming to school as well with their older siblings, just so they could get a meal. And I think that meal really does help the kids settle in and focus and listen to their teachers and learn to the highest amount that they can. So I think that attendance is increasing for as much as they provide the lunch program. Actually, my dream job is to work in the United Nations. I want to work around the world for food justice in underserved countries, because without food, I mean, you can't function. You know, that's what provides your energy. So food should be a right and not a privilege, and it's treated more so as a privilege. And I want to implement more of that food is a right kind of thinking around the world, and seeing their sustainable practices in Ghana. I would love to adopt some of those moving forward in the future for not only the American culture, but maybe other countries' cultures, of just take what you need, grow locally, you know, be educated about seasonal produce and how to cook it in the right way and be sanitary. And you know, I'm just really excited for the future, because I can't wait to just completely dive into that work. Right now, being in like Campus Kitchen, I dedicate as much time as I can, but I still have to do my schoolwork. So there's that balance, but I'm so passionate about it. I know this is what I'm here to do. It's my purpose to make people's lives better by providing them education of how to grow food and eat it nutritiously and safely.